What's up, guys? JC with Big Game Real Estate. Today we're going to talk about some mistakes that people make when selling their property. Obviously, we talk a lot about purchasing investment properties here because that's what a lot of the channel is about. But we're about real estate in general. A lot of you guys are getting into purchasing properties, so it's important to cover that aspect. But some of you guys are going to make some quick turnarounds, some quick flips, or some short hold positions. And it's important that we understand that there are mistakes to make when selling as well. So I'm going to jump right into it. Number one is a very common one: overpricing the property. All right. We know that commercial offers, as you are an investor yourself and you're out there trying to buy stuff, you're going to make an offer regardless of what the price is usually. But if a price is too ridiculous, most people are not going to make an offer. Okay? You're kind of sending the message that you're an unreasonable seller, you're not in touch with the market, you might not be in touch with the property. So again, obviously you want to maximize your dollar, but you don't want to take it to a point where it may not, where people are just not going to look at it. Remember, when you're selling a property now, those same people that you were contacting for to partner with you and invest are also going to be your potential buyers and folks like them as well. So you don't, if market price is 60,000 a door, don't price it at 95. They're not even going to look at it. All right, they might even say it's a great site, not going to look at it. Second mistake people make a lot of the times, if you have a loan, and this is one people don't necessarily cover, is oftentimes there's a prepayment penalty for that loan. So if you're going to do a short hold position and you're going to re-tenant the property and you don't want to cash out refi, you want to actually sell it, make sure you know if there is, how much the prepayment penalty for the loan is. Because what you don't want to do is sell a property for a $2 million profit and think you have $2 million coming in to 1031, and then you find out that you have a $400 or $500 or $600,000 prepayment penalty. All right, that's going to, especially if you have investors, you guys should be talking about that, but make sure that you know that. Obviously, not having your documents prepared. All right, you have multiple tenants, there's a rent roll, there's expenses, there's the leases. Have that stuff prepared. Obviously, you're most likely not going to present that until the property is in its due diligence phase, but make sure it's put together and make sure it's correct. A lot of the times people will report really repairs as capital improvements, right? Because you want the tax deduction while you're owning the property on the repairs. But that may come up in the due diligence period if you have records of it. So you want to make sure that things are on the up and up. Again, we know the purchaser is going to renegotiate things potentially, but we want to keep things. We don't want to be fooling. We don't want to seem like we're fooling anyone, and that brings up disclosures and repairs and things that are wrong with the property. Oftentimes sellers disclose way too much. Okay, again, the buyer has a due diligence period. Allow the buyer to do his homework. Okay, obviously if there's certain things ethically we need to, but it's not required and it's not needed to disclose everything that's wrong with the property, because the second the inspector comes out there, the second that the buyer does his inspection, they're going to find things that are wrong with it. They're going to try to renegotiate things anyway. So you don't need to volunteer that information to make their lives easier. Okay. Again, we talked about when purchasing properties, how some people may have signed on some recent tenants to beef up the rent roll, right? But meanwhile, they may have given them a few free months just to get them on. If you did that and you're the seller, that's okay. You gave away some free months to get your tenants in there, to get your building up to par, to get it occupied, to get it stabilized, whatever the case may be. That's fine. But disclose that to your buyer, because the buyer is going to find out regardless of what you do. It's better to be upfront about that than appear, again, as if you're trying to pull one over, because they're going to find out. They're going to see that maybe the following year or with the increase, that rents are going up tremendously, and they're going to say, well, how is that? How could that be? All right, things are not going to match when they go through their process. And one of the biggest things that I see is not doing the small upgrades to the property that really make a difference. A lot of people don't do this. I very much disagree with it. But if you can, brighten the property up by putting, some better landscaping, parking lot repairs, so there's no huge potholes, restriping the parking lot so it looks a lot more presentable in combination even with new landscaping, trimming the hedges, even something simple, really makes a difference in presentation when you're showing the property. And again, it's a commercial property, so obviously the potential person buying it more than likely is purchasing it for the income, the rent roll that it's making. But if I'm going to purchase your property and I see a dilapidated or poorly maintained site, we've gone over it here in our videos. This is what investors look for to make hopefully a lowball offer and get a property at a discount. So now as you're the seller, you have to use these tools in reverse. You have to go out of your way, or I would go out of my way to spruce up that property, plant some new trees, trim the hedges, maybe more so than you even normally would, restripe, cure potholes if you have walkways that are cracked. Fix the walkways. If you have shopping centers and there's some broken windows, I understand maybe it's the tenant's responsibility, they didn't do it or whatever the case may be, but for a couple of $100, you're going to spruce up your center. If you got peeling paint on the outside of the building, get it painted. Again, these things just make it look like you're a seller who cares about your property, and it may not get you the sale, but it will prevent the red flags and the radar from going up on the part of the buyer. Again, you used to be the buyer. You bought that property at some point. So think about how you would look at it and think about, where that would be. And again, guys, there's a lot of things sellers do to beef the property up. Don't lie on the rent roll and stuff like that. Don't fudge anything. It's going to come out. Anybody who has a good attorney, they're going to figure it out. And again, you're going to try to make a couple of extra dollars on a sale, and you're going to lose the entire sale. And remember, this is a very, very small industry. As big as it is, you don't want to develop the reputation of doing shady things. So hey, quick video today, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Keep hunting.